First of all, let me welcome Sandeep to the lecture on ISB product management. We are indeed privileged to have you, Sandeep. Let me quickly introduce Sandeep. I met him over LinkedIn, and there were loads of information which are already available from him in his YouTube channel as well as his Medium blogs, right, and as well as the WhatsApp groups. So do check that in after this lecture. I would also put the links to those in our group as well. His dedication to share intricate details from his past experience is mind-blowing. I have noticed that in a lot of his past webinars, which I have been attending personally, they have been of a lot of benefit to me and the folks who have been attending it. He has done his BTech from Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University and his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. He has worked with Infosys, Avanade, and is with Microsoft since the last 7 years. He is currently leading the gaming and entertainment unit as principal lead programming manager, right? So we are privileged and excited to hear from you, Sandeep. And as I admit people, right, folks, let's welcome Sandeep for the ISB PM talks. And let me hand over this to Sandeep. Before I officially hand over, let me just set two rules of this for this webinar. First of all, please mute yourself. Right, in case you join in and you find yourself unmute, please mute yourself. And second, I think it would be better if we can reserve the questions for the last 5-10 minutes, right? So that Sandeep can give us his best and we would not interrupt him. And third and the last is we have a session at 10:30, but I think that is a recorded session. So that would also be recorded. And also, as you would have seen in the past, the first 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes is for introduction. So hold on, don't jump at 10:30 because just hold on so that we will get the maximum from Sandeep. Thank you, Sandeep, for the patience, and thanks one and all for joining the session on time. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words, Jinsen. So I'm just going to overwrite some of the rules that Jinsen just mentioned. For those who want to join, please do join the 10:30 session. I'll try to finish it in the next 55 minutes. Thank you, Alok, for turning on your camera. Those who want to turn it on, please do. It will become more interactive. For those who have just joined, I said it very clearly that this session is about you. The more inputs I get, the more you will see the session is getting structured. So feel free to unmute when you have to speak. So let me share my screen as I introduce the topic to you. Okay. So the topic is very simple, and this is something which is very close to a lot of people. Okay. Especially you see all these unicorns getting built, etc. And this is where I see a lot of products struggle. Okay. Where the question is, hey, I have an idea. How do I take it all the way to a product? Okay. Think of it also as how does Microsoft product managers take an idea all the way to a product? Okay. So I will go through the entire journey right here in the next 45 minutes that I have. Does that make sense? Anybody not so excited about this topic or anybody who's super excited about this topic? Please leave comments because now I'm not able to see you. I'm sharing my screen. I hope you're able to see my screen.
We are able to see.
Okay. So how many of us are fans of Shark Tank? Seen Shark Tank, seen the pitches, etc., etc. So think of this as the preparation that would be going behind Shark Tank. The preparation that the startups, the entrepreneurs are doing in order to even come to Shark Tank. Think of it like that, okay? Because there are some ideas that have already have had fruition all the way to product. Or think of it like that. You're an entrepreneur, you want to build a product. This is something that you have to start off with. This is your first 30 days of building your product, okay? And first 30 days, even if before your product is built, and then from here on, you will have plain sale. Does that make sense? Does this excite you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so let me talk about the workflow here. Okay, the workflow is very, very simple. And I think so you would have heard some of these as well. We start off like now, this is my journey. I start off, let's say I have an idea. I will start off with a business value prop or a business plan. Then I will get into the technical feasibility, after which I'll do OKRs and backlog, and then a lot of other things. All of this, consider it as jargon. Basically, I'll be covering all of these as we proceed. Does that make sense? I am a product manager, and yeah, thumbs up really helps. Thanks a lot, Jensen. So let's say I'm a product manager, and I have to build products. But come what may, whatever product you build has to have a value prop behind it. It has to have a business value prop. I always say that do not ever join a product or a product company that has questionable business value and customer value. If business value is not there, then what will happen? You will create great products that the CEOs would never be interested in because you're not getting the required business value. And it could be money, it could be growth, it could be market segmentation, or it could be market growth, whatever the case may be. If you are in a product which is giving business but no customer value, that can never happen. Because if there's no customer value, you'll never get business. So always, whenever you start with products, you must have a business plan or a business value prop. You're all MBA institutes. I want to hear from you. What do you think is important from a business plans perspective? What do you put in your business plans? Go ahead. Keep speaking things and I'll keep writing.
Business plans, first in terms of the market opportunity, the market size.
Yep.
Then
It should meet requirement of some of the market segment or user segment.
Yep. Perfect. Keep speaking. One after the other. Whatever comes to your mind, just say.
So
should have a potential concept.
Very good. Potential concept. Great. Yes.
The product market fit.
Product market fit. Great.
Then
It should be backed by cold hard facts and numbers, not
Wow.
just hypothesis and axioms.
Wow. Who said this? Who is PV? Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Prasanna Sai. I'm sorry.
Prasanna, great.
Sai.
Yeah. Great. Very good. So, I think somebody else was saying something else.
Target customer.
Customers, so important. Yeah. Yes, very important. Anything else?
Customer pain areas, pain point.
Customer pain points. Yes, very important. If there are no customer pain points, then what are we solving?
Yeah, what are we trying to solve? Yeah, that's the crux.
Very good points. Anything else? So I will give you a small hint. Think you are going to a VC to get funding for your product. Do you need anything else? Is the VC happy with just this information?
The ROI, profit.
ROI, very important. Anything else?
Timeline, a tentative timeline in which we can do
Timeline,
this.
very important. Product roadmap, yes, very good. Important, very important. Honestly, you have covered nearly everything. Okay. Let me show you what a business plan that we prepare. And this is not something that everybody prepares. This is something that I prepare for my products. And I will show you what it contains. Very similar to what you said, right? Customer needs insights, product hypothesis, goals, what's the solution, what's the product looking like, market trends, financials, why should we invest now, competition and risk. I think so. These three things we didn't discuss, everything else we discussed. Very, very important. Okay. So let's go through all these 10 in a very short duration and try to understand for a particular problem how we would do it. And I have a problem for you already. Okay. And here's the problem. The problem is that imagine all of you are product managers of YouTube. Okay. Now, when you are product manager of YouTube, there is a particular problem and this is the problem. Okay. Prasanna Sai, you said signals. What are the signals we are getting? Okay. So here are the signals. We have a lot of creators on YouTube. Okay. They use YouTube for sharing content, of course. These creators also expect YouTube to be able to generate a passive income. Okay. But today, the biggest problem in YouTube is that their main revenue generation source is advertising. Advertising has money. However, there is a significant lead time for that money to be generated. For all of us who've been interacting with YouTube, you would know that people generally say, oh, even if you have a video with 1 million views, maybe you'll create $1, right? So there is a significant lead time to make money. Now, the problem is very simple. Let's say you are a great creator, okay? Your first video is amazing. Your second video is amazing. But guess what? You still have to make 1,000 videos to earn your first $1. Isn't that a problem? That's the problem that we are trying to fix. That only 10% of the creators on YouTube are able to make more than $100 per month. All of these numbers are fictional. I just made it up. None of this may be true. So if there's somebody from YouTube who is watching this, please don't hold me accountable. I've just made up these numbers, okay? Does this problem resonate with you?
Yes,
Yeah, it does,
it
Sandesh,
definitely does.
Great.
This
So
is a
now you
real
have to
life
speak up because I've even minimized your video window. So I can't see you guys, okay? Because I didn't want any of the real estate of the PowerPoint to go. Okay, now this is the problem. Now let's go figure out what we need. Now, do we have insights? Yes, we have existing insights because I'm looking at YouTube existing data. Therefore, I'm able to identify a problem. Now, that's a very valid problem that we have only 10% of the folks are creating money. And while doing so, while enabling the other 90% of the creators to make money early in the game, can we get a cut as YouTube? Can I make money out of it? Think of it. It's not just customer value, has to be business value. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe?
Could you say that question again, please?
Sure.
It's a very interesting thing.
The problem that I have said is only 10% of the creators on YouTube are making more than $100 per month. As product managers, we have to ensure how do we make 100% of the YouTube creators start making money on day 0. The first video that we upload, they should be able to make money. 10 cents, I don't care, but they should be able to make some money. While we make our content creators to make money, can YouTube make money along with that? That's the question that you should have at the top of your minds, right? Because it's not just customer value, has to boil down to business value as well. We are not doing charity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Chalo, aage badhte hain. Very first thing that you do is identify your personas. Okay, personas means who are the people whom you are going to serve. In this entire problem, can you tell me who are the personas? By personas,
Content creator.
Creator, yes.
New generation.
Viewers.
Viewers. Anybody else?
So the personas is basically from
Provider like YouTube.
YouTube.
The advertisers.
No.
Who also.
Advertisers, I'll put it, but I just said that advertisers are in any case giving money very late in the game.
Okay.
So I agree. Actually,
if your question is from creator points of view, then persona should be the viewers, because creator should get the money. So he is not.
The thing is, when you build a product, so this is how you should think of this product. This question, huh? When you build a product, who all are you trying to target?
Okay, creator and viewers, correct.
Creators and viewers. Can I say viewers are also the payers? I have to go figure out. Basically, somebody has to pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Indirectly, they are the payers.
Somebody has to pay, right? That's what I'm saying. Somebody has to pay. So I'm saying, so patron is somebody who views and pays, and I'm also looking at creators who creates. Okay. I've deliberately kept things very simple in this presentation because what is important is not the content that goes here. What is important is the structure that I've put on the top. Okay. So you should be able to apply the structure anywhere. That's important. Okay. Personas are done. Sai, I think so you mentioned about hypothesis. Somebody mentioned about hypothesis.
Yes, I did.
You did, right? Hypothesis is so important. Why? Because everything that I'm saying as a product manager is a gut instinct. I can't put my money on the idea and say definitely it will succeed. I can't do that. It's a hypothesis. So I wrote some hypothesis. I said, as a creator, I will feel incentivized to create good content if I get early opportunities of revenue generation. If you give me $1 today for my first video, I'll be incentivized to do the second video. Maybe I'll get $1.10. As a viewer, my stickiness to the platform increases if I get better content. As a sponsor, I'll be willing to pay the creator if I find value in the content. These are all my hypotheses, assumptions. I don't know whether they are true, whether they are not true. When I create my business plan, I write a bunch of hypotheses based on each persona. That's why you saw my persona was so important. If I don't have a persona in mind, I can't write my hypothesis. That's why persona is number one, immediately after the problem. Imagine this to be also my problem, though I just wrote customer insights and needs. Problem leads to persona leads to my hypothesis. Generally, when I am building products, I will end up writing 10 to 12 hypotheses. Okay, I've just written 3 for simplicity here. Now, have you heard about the flywheel effect? I'm introducing a totally new concept. Anybody heard about the flywheel effect here? No? Okay.
No, Sandeep.
Now listen to this. Very, very important. This is considered this to be a shift into a product management class. Huh? So far, you would have heard. Have you heard of the funnel concept? Funnel? Funneling?
Yes.
You know funnel?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we did.
So funnel, what is YouTube's funnel? YouTube's funnel is these many viewers. Out of these viewers, these many creators. Out of these creators, these many advertisers. Out of the advertisers, blah. This is the money you make, right? And but if my viewer funnel is, let's say, whatever, 2 billion, then the total dollar amount that we are getting is around $15 per creator, something like that, right? They will have a funnel like that. Gone are those days where we build funnels. Now are the days where we create flywheels. So let's understand what a flywheel means. Think of this, the hypothesis that I've written. I have written, if as a creator, think what I've done. I have said, as a creator, if you give me $1, I will make better content. If I make better content, that as a viewer, you will stick. If as a viewer, you stick and like my content, you will give me $1. If you give me $1, I'll make better content. If you make better content, I'll get good viewers. If I am a good viewer, I'll bring dollars, and so on and so forth. If when you are building products, think of these flywheels. Products having these flywheels are tremendously successful. Let me give you an example with Amazon. Huh? Amazon is the first thing that comes to your mind with Amazon is low cost infrastructure, right? It's not like a Walmart. You don't have stores. You are ordering online. Therefore, everything is low cost. Started with books, continues with diapers today, right? Now, what happens when there is low cost infrastructure? Customers get low prices. When customers get low prices, then what happens? If customers get low prices, means more customers come on the platform because I have low prices. I'm inclined to come to Amazon. If there are more customers, then what happens? If there are more customers, then there are more suppliers. If there are more suppliers on Amazon, what happens? You get more variety. If you get more variety, which means more customers. You see the flywheel? If I do this right, all of this continues to happen correctly. When you are investing in a product, startup, or whatever the case may be, think if there is a flywheel effect there, where every persona is an enabler for every other persona. If customers come, suppliers come. If suppliers come, customers come. As long as Amazon, I'm able to create a low-cost infrastructure. Does that make sense?
It does perfect sense. And I want you to just give a pause so I can take a screenshot of this. I like this concept. This is something new.
Totally. Please do. Okay. So even when you have an idea bursting up in your mind, oh, we will make the next big blockchain for, I don't know, supply chain. Think, is there a flywheel effect that I can bring in using multiple personas? Think of it like that, okay? That will help your product grow. And that will help you convince others how effective your product is, okay? So, ab funnel chhod do, flywheel chhod, socho. Okay, moving over. I'm assuming you've taken the screenshot. I have got the persona correct. I have got my hypothesis correct. Immediately after that, what's my goal? Made up goals. Huh? There are two things that I was focusing on. If you see, initially when I began, right, I said there are two things right here. I want great content and therefore stickiness will increase. Therefore, willingness to pay will increase. That was my flywheel in my hypothesis. Therefore, I'm measuring only those where I'm saying what's my quality and what's my stickiness. Just made up something. Huh? I said number of comments with positive sentiments means there is quality content is high. Number of subscribers divided by number of non-subscribers who watch content means quality is high. See, imagine if my quality is high, then what will happen? More people will subscribe. If more people subscribe, then even if non-subscribers come to the platform, they are more inclined to subscribe. It's unlike the cat and mouse videos, because in a cat and mouse videos, you get the dopamine, that you get that satisfaction of watching. But do you feel like, oh, great quality cat? You don't feel like that, right? If the quality of the content is high, the number of subscribers will be high. Therefore, number of non-subscribers who watch the content, that ratio should reduce. You would often see, look at YouTube channels where, let's say I have put content on, as I said, cat videos. In such channels, what you will see is number of subscribers is 45. Number of views are, where did I go? Are 100 million. Which means non-subscribers watching cat and mouse videos are in the vicinity of whatever, 90 million. Why? Because I don't have a need to subscribe to see a cat video. I'll just search cat video and I'm done. Subscription happens when quality increases. Therefore, I selected this ratio, and I'm sure you can come up with better ratios that I have, right? And user stickiness I'm measuring by the total time spent by the viewer on the platform for these creators, right? If I'm spending more time watching only your content, it means I'm stuck to your content, which means your quality is good. There are other metrics that we can figure out. But the point is, get your metrics right initially. Very, very important. If you have the wrong measurements happening, you will end up building an absolutely wrong product. Take it in writing from me. Now, I'll give you a small example.
That's perfect.
Let me give you a small example. There is, and I want some inputs here, so unmute. There is a what do you call, airport. In that airport, let's say Bangalore airport, okay? In the Bangalore airport, there was a very big problem that was identified. The problem that was identified is that the amount of time it took for the luggage to come on the carousels was very, very high. Plane land kar gaya, passengers are on the carousel, but the first bag has not appeared. In order to, now there's a problem, there's a hypothesis, there are two personas, the guy who's bringing the luggage and the guy who's receiving the luggage. Great. What's your metric to measure how do you improve this customer satisfaction use case where the luggage has not come on the carousel? What's your metric?
The waiting time of
Waiting time.
Waiting time of whom?
Of
Average
the
waiting
customers.
time.
Average waiting time. Anything else?
It feels very crowded without having valid reason in airport.
Sorry, say that again.
Means it looks like very crowded at that place because a lot of people are just waiting.
Crowding. Okay, crowding.
Yeah.
Baggage belt availability.
Sorry?
The belt availability.
Okay, you're saying that the problem is not with the luggage, maybe the problem is with the belt not being available, but let's assume that the belt is available, luggage is not there.
Okay.
Any other thoughts? Okay, let me answer. The metric,
Right.
yeah, sorry, please go ahead. One last one.
Yeah, I was thinking like right customer luggage should be in the right platform. I mean, right place.
Okay, so you're assuming different kind of problems. You're saying maybe the luggage was lost on some other belt. I'm saying it's a delay in the luggage coming to my carousel. The guy who's supposed to bring the luggage didn't bring it. That's the problem.
Maybe the trucker who loads, the number of those truckers may be less in the airport.
Sure.
Who unload the...
Sure. So let me tell you this thing, huh? The metric that was used in such a case in some part of the world, which I don't want to take, was the amount of time. Now again, you were focusing on like the trucker is not there, but I was looking for metric. What would be a metric? What number do you want to validate?
It should be considered among the other airports. What is the time they take and what is the time we needed in? What is the time it is required in?
Average time.
Average time across all the airports.
Turnaround time with accuracy.
Is it like average time for a passenger to walk out of the airport?
Average time. So interesting, huh? This is something similar to the first one. So the metric that they used was the amount of time it takes for the first luggage to come on the carousel. First luggage. Their hypothesis was if the first luggage comes, then others can come. Do you see any problem with this metric?
Yeah.
Accuracy.
The metric should be when the last luggage should come, not the first. Last luggage means the process is complete.
You are spot on. Now, what would happen if you measure the first luggage? What will the luggage department do? They will deliver the first luggage and go have coffee now. Enjoy. You're right. The time should be when does the last luggage come? Now, actually, the last luggage is also a problem. If I say the amount of time that it takes for the last luggage to come, then there is a possibility that you don't have a flow. There's a possibility that I keep all my luggage right here and then I will dump all of them together. You don't want that. You want a flow. Therefore, whoever's talked about average time, etc., that makes sense. But you see how metrics can change? For those who are interested, read about Wells Fargo sales fiasco. Around 4 years back, Wells Fargo had a big sales fiasco where every sales guy was opening one account after the other. The reason why this happened was because of wrong metrics. The reason I'm stressing so much here is if you get your metrics wrong, you will end up building a monster of a product by a team which is motivatedly doing something which is absolutely in the wrong direction because you set the metrics incorrectly. Metrics are super critical for you to land your product right. Metrics gone wrong means people's motivation is wrong. People are doing the wrong things. You have no idea how people will game the system. Knowingly that this is the right thing to do. They don't even know that they're doing wrong because somebody up there set the wrong metric. Read about Wells Fargo. Very important use case for all product managers to understand what went wrong with Wells Fargo because the CEO ended up setting the wrong metrics because of his sales team did absolutely incorrect things for which they were fined like several millions of dollars. Anyways, moving on. Great. So I have metrics. Now you have to come to solution also. Na? Solution kya hai? Solution is, here is my high level solution. Huh? And you would have seen this solution elsewhere. It's not a very novel solution. But again, the structure is important, not the content. So my solution is this, that as a sponsor, any creator gets the ability to get patrons to pay. Okay. So as a creator, I can get any of my patrons. From a Connect perspective, I should have the ability for our creators to create and connect with the viewers where patrons can appreciate the creator, viewers provide ability for users to view and pay. I will show all of this to you. Okay. So thinking of all of this, you already getting hints that where I'm heading is that viewer becomes a patron. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to break in there. I think you said one of the interesting lines there so quickly and then you moved on to the second concept, but I was stuck at that one sentence that you said because that's very important. You said while answering this question, it's the structure that's important, not the solution. Is that what you said?
Yeah, in this context of the meeting.
Oh, as in a product manager interview as well, I think the approach and the structure is more important than the solution per se.
No.
Shall I jump in here, Prasanna?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Understanding the problem itself is the most important things. And if you know the answer is problem, then you have the right metrics. Then you can...
Let me clarify. Sorry, let me clarify. What I'm trying to say here is, in this context of the meeting, I have made up numbers. I have made up problems. I have made up solutions. Okay.
Okay.
So whatever I'm presenting, that content is not important. When you are in an interview, your structure and content both are equally important. Okay. What you said is right. Problem is important. Identification of the problem is important. Okay. Maybe I should do a separate session on interviewing. Okay. By the way, I'm planning to do a session on highly ambiguous interviews. Like what happens when you are asked a very, very ambiguous question. Interestingly, you will see whatever I have mentioned here is also applicable for your interviews, because when you're doing a product management interview, the structure you follow is exactly identical to the structure we follow while building our own products. It's not any different. It's the same. Therefore, structure becomes critical, because if you got your structure wrong, there is no way on earth that you will create a creative solution. Structure ही गलत है, persona ही नहीं सोचा तो solution कैसे सोचोगे? Right. Problem ही नहीं सोचा तो आप metrics कैसे सोचोगे? So structure becomes important. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I have another follow-up question on that.
Please. Yes.
In the contingency where there is a PM interview going on, and I am new to PM, so I couldn't get the answer right. But then I understood the problem very much right, and I was approaching it from the right angle very sensibly. Will that get me enough points, threshold points to, break in, or you think approach is not as important as the solution is?
No.
In that space.
No. So let me get it right. Yeah. Approach, without the approach, your solution will not have any merit. Okay. Now we are digressing, but let me address that point as well. I give you the same problem, saying, "Arey, YouTube mein na yaar, bande nahi aa rahe. Like the creators are not getting enough money. How will you solve it?" Oh, I have a great idea. You know what I'll do? I will let the viewers donate money to the creators. Great. But guess what? Maybe your solution is exactly identical to what you've arrived had you followed the structure. But even if your solution is super creative, you're not getting the points. Why? Because you didn't think through like a product manager. There are abundant solutions available in the market. Your solutions will fall flat if you've not thought through the problem, the metric, the persona whom you're impacting, their user flow, their journey, etc., etc., etc. So structure is important. But let's assume you follow great structure, but you present a very non-creative solution. You tell me, would you like to hire a person in your team who lacks creativity? Maybe not. Would you hire a person in your team who's not able to define the problem correctly? Maybe not. However, having said that, there could be a moment that in interviews, it's a 1 hour interview, it's very difficult to get the creative juices flowing in that 1 hour. Therefore, most organizations have multiple rounds. You may not have creative juices flowing in interview number 1. Maybe not in interview number 2, but if it is in interview 3 and 4 and 5, then there is a problem. Right? Therefore,
awesome. I think this is phenomenal. Whatever is happening is phenomenal. I don't want us to digress any further. Please continue on your plan. I will catch you later, but awesome.
Okay. So looking at this interest, right, I will do a session on interviews as well. All of you are invited, and I'll figure out when I have to do. I'll work with Jinsan on that. Okay. So,
perfect.
When you are thinking product, right, as a product manager as well, even in Microsoft, I just don't write text and go along. If you have the skill, then draw wireframes as well. Rather, you have to have the skill to draw wireframes. Okay. So I cooked up something last night for you guys. In case I have to show it to my VC, to my CVP, abhi tak aap dekho na, everything is text. You are not able to visualize things. You don't know where exactly what you have to do. If you are able to visualize things, you will land your message 10x better. And that's what you would have seen in Shark Tank. Everybody, even if they're in an idea stage, they had something to present. So look, see my product. You need to touch, feel, understand. But imagine that when you are a real product manager, at this stage, you have zero funding. It's you all by yourself trying to do all of this research. You don't have engineering. You don't have UX designers with you. Then how do you make sure that others can touch, feel, and feel inspired from your level of thinking? That's what I did. When you design UX as well, you have to think personas. This is my creator persona that I have drawn. So this is creator. Creator can see content. And when the creator clicks on monetization, that's where all of this should happen, right? So I said, as a creator, I am having the ability to create something called patron plans. What are patron plans? I will talk about it. You can create your own patron plan. You can plan unlocking specific workflows for each plan. अच्छा मुझे नहीं समझ में आया. Let's see. I have 3 predefined patron plans that YouTube has provided. Guess what? I can click on plus and add more, or I can edit these patron plans. I click on the edit button. Something opens up and I can say, oh, now I understand. Treasure Hunter is just a patron plan. If I have somebody who wants to become a treasure hunter on my channel, they can give me 40 rupees. If they give me 40 rupees, I will unlock certain things for them. I can give them access to my GitHub repository. I can add them to my WhatsApp group. Maybe they can schedule a one-on-one this week with me, etc., etc. If for those who are technologists can understand that this is nothing but IFTTT. If this, then that. If you give me 40, then you give access to GitHub, then you get WhatsApp, then you get one-on-one meeting. This is a technical concept. You should know about it. IFTTT, learn about it. It's very interesting. But now you understand the concept. As a creator, what I'm doing as part of this plan is that as a creator, I can create marketing plans. I can create marketing verticals for which I can give something back to you. But though my YouTube channels are free, but for that payment, I'm going to give you something extra. Maybe for 80 rupees, I will schedule 3 interviews with you. You getting it? Something like that. And that's what I'm thinking as a YouTube product manager. Okay, I save it. I'm done. Now, what is the viewer's persona looking like? Now I'm a viewer. I am on the channel and I see a patron button with a rupee or a dollar sign. I click on that and guess what? Now I see the same 3 plans that the creator has set for me. What will I do? I will click on rupees 40. I will click next. It will say, okay, this is your payment gateway. I select UPI. Somehow I pay, forget the UPI thing. Once I pay, it says, hey, congratulations. Now you have access to the GitHub repo. You have access to WhatsApp group. You have a one-on-one meeting set with this guy on Thursday, and that's it. Now, does this make sense? Visualizing the solution, did it help? Not help? Could it be better? Would love to have in the next 30 seconds.
Yes, somewhere it ties in with gamification, doesn't it?
It is. And I am from the gaming domain. So what better would you expect from me? And this is what I cooked up last night, thinking if I were YouTube, how would I increase that? Now imagine I am the first video. Does it solve? Let's go back and look at our metrics and did it solve the problem? I'm a creator. When I'm a creator, when I uploaded my video, I also created my patron plans. On my very first video, maybe I can get 40 rupees. Maybe I won't. But now I am not dependent on YouTube's advertising money to give me money when I reach 1 million subscribers. No, I can get money on my very first video. Solve. If I get money and I'm opening up access to my patrons and viewers, I'm incentivized to make better content. If I make better content, I get more money. There is flywheel. If I make better content, people pay money, there will be more people who will be joining. And imagine if I as a viewer has paid you 40 rupees, I better get my value out of it. I'm definitely going to subscribe and listen to more of your content. You see the flywheel happening?
Sandeep?
Yes.
Sandeep, hi, this is Ria. So I'm really glad to see this, but I have a question in your next round of interview when you take it with us. This was a very quick question about wireframes. So I was interviewed by a fan company and I was asked about a futuristic product, which is smart mirrors. Now, how do I create wireframes for something that I have never seen, felt, experienced? Because that was a problem for me.
Hold your question for the next meeting. Okay, I will show you. Yeah. Rather, in my previous discussion, I'll share a video, and maybe Jensen, you can share the video where we were discussing all about the, what was my last one? Last one was on technology. Yeah, so I did a session on, as a product manager, what all technology should you know, in which I discussed wireframing in detail. Maybe Jensen, if you can share that video with the team. I talk about wireframing there, but in my next talk with you guys and others, where I talk about interviews, I'll go into detail. This session is not about how to wireframe. This session is how to take your idea all the way to your product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is why I said the next round. I'll be waiting. Yeah.
Perfect. Put these things in comments so that I can read through. Okay. All right. So TK, wireframing done. My VC can at least see what my vision is. And now we can start commenting, abhi ye kya hai, bakwas hai, or oh, this is great, let's do it, etc. etc. Now imagine you're talking to your VC, huh? Now once you're done with this, where is the business value? Kar lenge bhaiya, hame kaisa paisa aega? Where is the money? That's the very next question that the VC is asking, right? Therefore, again, when you talk money, you talk these three terms: TAM, SAM, and SOM. Now let me talk about these. The addressable market. Now I am in the creator segment. Okay. If I'm in the content creation segment, content creation everybody is doing. Yeah. Video guys are doing, blog guys are doing, podcasts are doing, developers are creating content. So many people are creating content. Now I'm saying that market is 280 billion. Okay. I'm also saying now that is the total addressable market of all content creators. Does YouTube serve all content creators? No. YouTube has podcasters? No. Does YouTube have blogs? No. Out of that, the total available market to YouTube is minus the blogs and podcasts. Let's assume that to be 100 billion. Okay, I've just cooked up these numbers. These are not real numbers. Huh? So great. YouTube has an available market of 100 million, which means all video content creators are worth $100 billion market. Brilliant. But can YouTube have 100% monopoly on the content creation market? No. There is an aspect of what is obtainable. And that obtainable, let's assume I said, I don't know what number I said. So I said 24% of the total market is YouTube's market. Therefore, $24 billion. So basically what I'm saying is, my VP, if I open up, and by the way, this is just content creation market. This is not advertisement market. Now I'm saying, VP, if we do this right, you give me 3 years or 4 years and I can get $24 billion made for my creators, not for me. $24 billion for my creators. If I make $24 billion for my creators, and let's say I take a 10% share out of it, I am talking about a $2.4 billion revenue for YouTube. Does that make sense? Yes or no?
It does. It so does. Amazing. Yes. This is going to scaling new heights, man. Thanks.
Yeah. So
just a second. When I create this is super critical. A lot of I get pissed off when I look Shark Tank. Shark Tank only talks about TAM. They will say, oh, the total addressable market is 5,000, 8,000, 9,000 crore. अरे यार तुम 9,000 crore नहीं पहुंचने वाले. Where do you see yourself? They only talk about TAMs, and TAMs are as worthless as pennies. Why? Because when you are at times, I'll tell you, I was in the media business. In the media business, they say, oh, the TAM is like $500 billion. Out of that $500 billion, 80% of that money goes to actors, which we will not make as Microsoft or whatever. And I'm again cooked up numbers. Huh? I will never divulge the real numbers to you. But the point is, you can't quote on TAM and say, oh, TAM is $500 billion, therefore I'm entering that market. No, $500 billion में से तुम्हें कितना मिलेगा? What is your cut? That is very, very important. And when you are building your products, if you don't have this, and from SOM, if you are not able to figure out what is your revenue, you're already on the wrong path, because everything will look super rosy. You will say, oh, 9,000 crore ki market, let's enter. Doesn't work like that. If that be the case, then every company will be worth 9,000 crore, right? Question. Somebody had a question. No question? Okay, I'll proceed. Now market is set. You have told your VC, भैया जो मर्जी कर लो, $2.4 billion से ऊपर नहीं बनेगा. But guess what? If you have done your research well, then you will be able to achieve this number in 5 years. If you have done your research well. If you have not done your research well, there will be whatever 10-15% of errata or error confidence interval that you may go here and there. But by the time you're done with your market research, you should be able to tell what money is coming in the pocket of YouTube. That's what you have to arrive at, not look at the rosy picture. Great, market is done. Now we look at competition as well. Quick question for you. Now, see, I have put a twist on every single slide. There is a twist here as well. That's why I have hidden it. Who is the competition of YouTube in this solution space?
I think the new players, small players like Video. I think there are Vimeo, yeah, Vimeo and a few others.
Vimeo.
Yeah. Dailymotion, for example.
Anyone else?
Hotstar Prime.
Anyone else?
Even Facebook, right? Facebook Watch.
Star Prime? How is Star Prime? Star Prime pe, acha, using content like the professional content creators. Okay, anyone else?
No, every news channels like Rediff and the TV, they have also video.
News channel, professional content creators.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if you take it on broad terms, even games and other entertainment also are competition. If you take it on broad terms.
Yes. Twitch. We'll put Twitch.
Instagram.
Sorry?
Instagram, maybe.
Instagram, yes. Okay, I'll take a pause here. You are only focusing on folks who are content creators. Right? And that's what happens. When you look at competition, right? There are folks who are creating content. And I agree with all of this. All of this goes here. But you will also have to see people who are paying the content creators. There are other avenues by which I'm making fund, and I also gave you a hint that people are making money outside of YouTube. You are also looking at related industries जिसका कोई लेना देना नहीं है GitHub से, YouTube से. Why? Because GitHub is a developer content creator platform. How is that anything to do with YouTube? Maybe nothing. But guess what? A type of creator sits inside GitHub who's a developer, right? How is GitHub is to developer is the same as YouTube to video content creator. Now, when I'm looking at competition, I am not just looking at what the competition is. I am also looking at what is it that I can seek inspiration from. For example, I am learning from my compete, which is TikTok and Dailymotion, that they have limited monetization abilities, very similar to YouTube. These two guys have a heavy reliance on third-party services just like YouTube, which means our competition is not doing any different. When I look at my competition, which means I have not learned anything from them. They are exactly like who we are. Maybe my competition is looking at me as I am the trendsetter. But now let's look at GitHub. What has GitHub done? I don't know how many of us are aware of GitHub, but what GitHub has done is, GitHub is a related industry, nothing to do with YouTube content, etc. They have tested reasonable success with first-party monetization. They have already done first-party monetization where when you write code, I can give you money because your code made a difference in my life, right? Then I'm not just looking at that, oh, they have a dollar button on which you can click and pay. I am now looking at their user voice also. Do people love it? Do they not love it? Is it a success? Is it a not success? User voice is nothing but user feedback, right? So when I am saying competition, you are not just looking at parallels. You are looking at related industries. You are looking at anything in the entire value chain of content creation and content monetization to seek inspiration from. And you are not trying to do a repeat of what they have done. What you are trying to understand here is what works and what does not work. Maybe the way developers think is not the way how content or video creators think. But it's always good to be in the know-how. And therefore, when you are talking to your VC, you have to tell this that, boss, listen, TikTok, Dailymotion, they have not done anything in this space. Therefore, we have an early movers advantage. And why am I saying it has worked is because it has worked for GitHub. Imagine that conversation. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Thanks a lot. It's been revelating.
One very important thing I want to tell you, a lot of people, even in very, very big companies, look at competition to understand what needs to be done. That is the biggest ever mistake that you can make in your product management life. You do not look at competition to see what they have done, therefore we need to do. That way you never build products. You build products by staying close to your customers. You can look at competition to see where the market is heading. This can always be a subset of market. Where is the market? Where is the industry? Where are the related industries heading? Okay. To understand what is happening, not to seek inspiration and copy paste. Never work that way because your products will fail. Why? Because your competition has an edge over getting those insights and doing something faster than you. You will always play the catch-up game. You will never overtake them. Okay. So that's one important point that I wanted to land with respect to competition. Okay.
Sure.
Ho gaya.
Sandeep, sorry to interrupt you. Just a time check. We have 6 more minutes for 10:30.
Yes. I have my watch right here.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now that we have this guy done, now I'm looking at competition is done. I want to look at finances. Finances is nothing. You remember I told you want $2.4 billion. How much money do you want to invest to make this $2.4 billion? What do you want? You want development cost. You need infrastructure cost. Based on that, you will take 3% of the transaction. I said 10%, 3%, whatever the case may be. We will break even in 6 months. This is the finance. All the CAs in the room will be very happy. This is like the back of my hand calculation. Even as product managers, you should be able to do that ROI calculation very, very quickly. You should know what is my cost, what is my revenue, when do I break even? Very important. Okay. I'm not spending much time here. It's simple mathematics here. Very important. Why should we do it right now? What is the urgency of doing it? The reason why we want to do it now and not 10 days later is because my month-on-month growth of creators is declining. I want to get my creators back. My creators are going to TikTok. Not only that, they are preferring other streaming platforms, especially in short video segment. Therefore, we need to incentivize them to bring them back. There is a very big, large funnel of good content creators that we are losing. Therefore, we need to do it now. You have to prepare that sense of urgency if it exists. If it doesn't exist, then don't fake it. Once that is done, you have to be very true to yourself. Bhaiya, where is the risk? There is a massive risk in this. Have you validated the hypothesis that people will ever donate? Why should I donate? I am in any case getting my free content. Huh? Why should I donate? I will not. I am happy with the content. Have you validated what if originality of content is getting compromised? I put a video, somebody else puts the same video, and they are the one who invest in advertising and marketing, and then they take the dollar value. How do you ensure that if Jensen made the video, he gets the money and not some fake who copies Jensen's video? All of these problems, then Jensen will be even further demotivated, right? There are big risks in this implementation. Then how are you mitigating those? When you present to your VC, don't only sell the rosy picture. That means that you've not thought through well. You have to also tell what will make my idea fail. Then only your VCs will feel that you've done the necessary thinking in order to make this purposeful. Otherwise, everybody don't become that salesman who just wants to sell. Okay? Because when you are investing in product, there is always the flip side. Remember that. And especially when you're asking for funding, show this. That shows that you're thorough. But also as a mitigation, I haven't put mitigation. Last but not the least, gaye kya ho VC ke paas karne? You want something, right? This is classic Shark Tank. Bhaiya, I need one feature crew, 14 people, 14 developers, one more PM for 9 months. I want some cloud credits because I will need some funding or all of this streaming, money, storage, etc. etc. I want cloud. I want some connects with leadership on other payment gateways because I don't want to invest in payment gateways and so on and so forth. Once that is done, you have to come up with your product roadmap. Now remember, you remember I said there are some risks for which I have not put a mitigation. Therefore, if you see what I have done is, I have mitigated that risk using my product roadmap. I have said I will do 1 month of only experimentation with only 20 creators to validate my hypothesis whether it is true or not. Ab 1 mahine ka mere ko 10 developers doge, it will not be a dent in your pocket at all. I will validate whether I'm heading in the right direction. Let's meet after 1 month. Let's put that milestone. If it works fine, let's invest. And then my 4-month project plan looks something like this. I will give basic patronage options with no ability to edit. There is no editing. I will give you basic commerce engine, which only UPI, credit card, debit card, and net banking will support. And I'll give you ability to donate. Nothing else. There is no IFTTT. There is no edit, no nothing. Basic. which we refer to as MVP. MVP is what basic features you want to ship across all personas to complete your scenario. Do you think editing is important? IFTTT is important without which you can't ship? No. Then the next 4 months, this is my roadmap. Get your roadmaps clear in your mind. If your roadmaps are not clear, you will be held responsible for the failure of your product, because what if I do this first? I start investing in my private preview features first, and guess what? After 4 months, you realize nobody's digging it. Your risks came alive and your product is not being used. Work with your engineering team to create a technical architecture diagram. I have actually created the technical architecture diagram in case you have to build this entire product. It's a good art to have as a PM. End with your OKRs. OKRs are, what is your objective? I have 1 minute left and I'll try to close it in a minute. Objective is, what is your big, hairy, audacious goal? Which means I want to make YouTube the best platform for video content creators. How will you measure this? I will measure it by increasing the NPS for content creators from 34 to 40. And I will give $1.2 billion of revenue by the end of the year. What more than that? Am I able to achieve it? Not able to achieve it. You may not achieve 1.2. Maybe you will achieve 800 million. That is great. You achieved 70% of your goal. That is brilliant. But at least you are audacious in keeping your revenue yet reasonable. Does that make sense? Now, I have some homework for you, and this is not over. Huh? I have got something else to say. The homework is create a business plan and backlog for Microsoft for food, and create a business plan and backlog for Amazon for gaming industry. Okay. Now, once this homework is done, or once this OKR is set up, I need 1 more minute and I'm done. Okay. So please don't leave. Once this OKR is set up, we build this entire thing in our backlog. Okay. Now I'm on Azure DevOps, a product called Azure DevOps, which is similar to Jira. You can see all of this coming here. Make YouTube the best platform for video content creators, which is my objective. You can see objective right here. Inside the objective are 2 KRs. NPS for content creators going from 34 to 40. Revenue is $1.2 billion. My key results are right here. And then my scenarios. Okay. Now inside those, actually I should go 1 level down. I go to key results. Inside key results, you see NPS. Now for NPS, I want a creator workflow, patrons workflow, and in this I have a commerce engine. Okay. I'll go further down. I'll go to scenarios. Inside scenarios, you can see creator workflow says show basic patronage options, show editing patronage plan, show IFTTT. In commerce engine, show payment gateway integration. Inside patrons workflow, view the options to pay the patronage, get access to goodies. Now, if I go inside features, in order for me to do, let's take, I don't know, let's say payment gateway, payment gateway integration. I have to integrate with UPI, MasterCard, Visa, wallet, net banking, etc., etc. Maybe in future I will do Bitcoin and Stripe and so on and so forth. If I say show basic patronage option, I have a side panel UX. I need to show you the 3 plans. I need to show you pricing for those 3 plans. I have to get marketing buy-in, whether these 3 plans sell or not. How am I editing pricing, editing plan details, etc., etc. All the OKRs and my product roadmap comes to my backlog. And then what do? I said, hey, PM number 1, you are responsible. So this is new and this is active. We have started investing in this. And as soon as it is active, you saw it move to active. And then I will assign it to my PM saying, oh, Shikha, I will not assign to her. She'll get notifications unnecessarily. You are now responsible for getting this work done. Do it. And then she owns it. She creates the spec. She creates a technical architecture working with the architects and the technical team. And therefore the product rolls on. Now I will conclude. This was the end-to-end journey where I took you from an idea to my product roadmap, to my product backlog, and then you basically work with the engineering. Of course, I've asked you to do homework. Once you've done your homework, how do you submit? You can take a screenshot of this. This is very simple. If you have done your homework, join me on this WhatsApp channel where I get a lot of homework. Jinsen has been kind enough to do homeworks on his previous talks. And you can follow me on Medium, YouTube, and LinkedIn for other things. Okay. But join WhatsApp because that's where I check your homework. And that's it. That's all that I had. Thank you so much for bearing with me and stretching over by another 3 minutes.
No, Sandeep. Let me come in here and tell you a couple of things, right? I got no hurry because